Hi there folks, Gareth here, and this is an Asus laptop. Okay, so what we have here, sent over by the lovely folks at Asus, is the UX305C. This is not quite an ultrabook, not quite a netbook, but something that's maybe more akin to the MacBook Air, if anything. It's a wonderfully sleek laptop offering that comes in at a very nice price. It's spec'd up to the hilt to give you that better than average performance, whilst also maintaining a more humble price than the high-end laptops that you may see. It also happens to be one of those gorgeous pieces of hardware on sale at the moment. So, Asus Zenbook, that's what they're calling it. The box itself is quite lovely. Sounds like there's lots of things inside, and it's pretty heavy too. So let's get this open and see what it... Okay, it opens like a traditional box that you would expect. It opens quite traditionally, a bit like an old-fashioned board game. There is the Zenbook on the top there. We'll have a look at the little bits of interest down here. We have an Asus charger, which has a plug on the end, obviously. There is also another piece here, which is a USB 3 to Ethernet adapter. Very handy indeed. Obviously the Ethernet is a very wide port, so the likes of a MacBook or the Zenbook can forego it for those that don't actually use it, to allow for a slimmer profile. We'll have a quick look at the laptop afterward. What else do we have in here? We have In Search of Incredible. The warranty card with warranty information. The user guide, which has a cloth at the back. Simple cloth. Not terribly large, but large enough to keep fingerprints at bay. I think that's about it. Yep. And then of course, the lovely laptop. All slink wrapped, or not slink wrapped, but plastic wrapped to preserve it. And it's in from the cold, so we're getting a bit fingerprinty here. This is freezing, actually, because it is all aluminium, I believe. So it says Asus there, and it's got that nice kind of whirly effect with the circular cut. Along the back here we have two little feet that help prop it up just a wee bit whenever you're typing, and it's open. Other than that, nothing. It's noticeably thin. You know, this is the fat end. It's beautiful. It's incredible. Around this side we have two USBs. I believe they are 3s. An SD card slot here. Looking from here, you can see that it's not a full SD card slot. The SD card will sit out probably quite a considerable distance. It looks like maybe a third of the card will actually go into that hole as opposed to even a half. I know you can get half cards, which are micro SD adapters that fit in quite nicely, but this, yeah, that's a little bit of a disappointment, but I suppose they have to save space given just how thin this is. Along the front there is nothing but an incredibly thin profile. It really is very thin. And here we have a hard disk light, a battery light, the headphone jack, micro HDMI out, a USB 3, and the power connector for the charger that we saw earlier. Along the bottom, nothing but the Windows logo there, and 4 pads here and here. Now, there are screws here for those that like to do some home tinkering. They look to be very small Torx screws, and I believe that there are 4 screws under these pads as well, because I've already looked into the idea of beefing up the SSD and as to whether or not you can add more RAM. From what I've read so far, you can change the SSD, however you cannot change the RAM. Looking inside, wow, lovely. That's a piece of beauty, it really is. There's a large 13.3 inch screen here. As you can see there, it says it's an IPS Quad HD display, sleek, ultra slim, 13.3 millimeters. Oh, okay, maybe it's 13. Maybe that's where I read that spec from. They've kept the 13.3 here, and then it's 13.3 millimeters fat as well. And then there's a long life battery too. And obviously these are the keys. Here we've got this is the Intel Core M5 variant we have here, with HDMI and energy saving. There's a little logo here that says audio by Ice Power, Bang & Olufsen technology, and it's sort of a standard layout. I noticed a few keys that are a little different. Up here we have a sleep button and an airplane mode, which obviously must work with the function key there. And one thing that I'm just noticing that I never even noticed on the spec sheet was that this is indeed touchscreen. It's a Windows 10 touchscreen device. Wow, that's even more impressive again. Fantastic. Well, let's get her boot up. Obviously there's got to be a little bit of power in here. Which there isn't, it needs a full charge. So it comes with Windows 10 64-bit installed. It has a dual-core 900 MHz Intel M3 6Y30 processor, which can turbo up to 2.2 GHz. Importantly, this is fanless, completely fanless. Whenever it's running at 2.2, I'm guessing that it'll generate quite a bit of heat. I didn't see too many exhausts around here. There doesn't seem to be any exhausts at all, actually. There's the speaker grills here, but there's no actual exhausts around the device at all, so it must use the aluminium case to dissipate the heat. There's 8 GB of non-upgradable RAM, and they run at 1866 MHz. They're DDR3 rated. There's onboard graphics, Intel HD 515, alongside a 256 GB solid state drive. Okay, so we'll jump her into action so we can have a quick look at how this should boot like crazy, I imagine. There's Bluetooth 4.0 built in as well, plus wireless AG, B, N and AC. Starting price is around £600, but it can rise quite quickly once you get the higher specs. And it comes with a year's warranty. Weight wise, it's 2.65 pounds, but that's not terribly high. So we're looking at English, United Kingdom, yes. Your preferred app language, United Kingdom, and Dublin, Edinburgh, Lisbon, and London. It's beautiful to have a touchscreen. So convenient. Okay, so really, yeah, it comes with some brains to throw in something like this as well. That's just a customer priority right out of the box. I'm a bit taken aback. I didn't expect this at all. So many companies are just quite happy to do away with a feature that costs them a couple of quid, but for them to actually go the extra mile and provide you with a specific dongle, USB 3 at that too, it never fails to take my breath away. That's real care from Asus there. See if we can bring up some system settings here. So inside, just to confirm with what's on the box there, because sometimes you can get SSDs that are slightly smaller or whatever, we have the Intel Core M66 Wi-Fi 4, 1.0 gigahertz, 1.10 gigahertz, 1.51 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the 64-bit version of Windows 10. Just one of the first things that's popped up here is an offer for Dropbox and Asus. You get 25 gigabytes of space for 6 months when using Dropbox on this device. Not bad, can't complain. 6 months isn't the longest amount of time, but noticing the keys on the keyboard, the font that they actually use is quite sleek and sporty looking. You can notice it almost straight away with the W. It almost looks like it's italic. It's just a little bit of an added thought to it. The H as well, anything that's obviously sort of standing vertically, it sweeps to the side just a little to make you feel a little more fast-paced. I'm really enjoying typing on the keyboard. It's a very smooth keyboard to use, and with this and a super little font here, it really helps with the usage of it. It makes it a lot simpler to write on and work across. Okay, so then again, whereas Dropbox is giving you 25 gigabytes, we also have Asus Web Storage, and it seems to be giving 16 gigabytes. Just having used it for a few minutes there, I can feel here that it's getting very hot. A couple of updates installed, and installed Chrome and Steam. I can feel it's already getting quite warm there. But what we're going to do is we're going to leave it for a few days, and we'll let it charge up, get it all set up with everything that I want to run on it. I'll post a few videos about it over the next few days, and then we'll have a review up in a couple of weeks of just how lovely this is, or if I come across some inherent flaws that it might well have.
But other than that, it feels like a beautiful piece of kit so far, and I'm looking forward to playing with it a bit more over the next couple of weeks and judging it.